Okay, let's take a look at this tab, task 2. It's an opinion essay from Cambridge 13, test number 1. We have living in a country where you have to speak a foreign language can cause serious social as well as practical problems. So here we're talking about social issues, you know, making friends and socializing and things like that. And we have practical problems. So we're talking about problems, dealing with everyday life things, maybe dealing with transport, maybe shopping, work, studying, and so on and so on. So, to what extent do you agree or disagree? So here we have the rephrase. It's thought by some that there would be social and practical problems for people who are living in a foreign country where they have to speak the second language. Okay, that's a good rephrase. I'm happy that you didn't think of some strange word to replace social or practical or whatever. I'm happy you didn't do that. I don't think there's a need to rephrase absolutely every single word. So here you did something that was very nice. It sounded kind of natural and there was nothing strange about it. And I think, one of the main mistakes you're making is trying to find synonyms for everything and coming up with words that sound strange or change the meaning of the sense that was given in the question. This is a good job. I completely agree with this statement because language barriers cause communication failure and obstruction of employees' performance. I think here employees is plural, so the comma should come after the S. Now, here I think we have social problems. Okay, so here you have language barriers cause communication failure. Okay, and here we have obstruction of employees' performance. Okay, so I think I think you've kind of strayed a little bit away. And here we have obstruction of employees' performance. Okay, and here we have practical problems. Okay, now even though I think that employees' performance is kind of could be like a specific example of practical problems, but it's not like the general idea. Okay, let's take a look at this. To begin with, the necessity to speak a second language would cause a failure to communicate with people of, let's say, a foreign country. Now, I feel that this kind of main idea could be summed up in a better way, right? The point that we want to make is that communication problems can affect our social life. This is what we want the main idea to be. We want to be talking about how language problems can affect our social life, how language problems can affect our practical everyday life. So maybe as a topic sentence, we could say that that the lack of communication or mistakes within communication or language barriers uh, you know can lead. So we could say communication failure can lead to problems socializing, and then we can explain the idea. But here you're just saying that you're having problems communicating with people. I think there's a difference between socializing and communicating. Okay, so socializing is really making friends, going out with people, going to weddings, you know, uh, things like that, things of that nature. Communication is just getting the idea across to people. It doesn't specifically mean socializing. So I think the main idea here was kind of off. And I think here as well, language barriers cause communication failure. Now, possibly you could say language barriers cause communication failure, which lead to socialization problems and problems maybe, with our, sorry about that, and problems with our everyday life, problems with our everyday life tasks. I think that would have been better, you know. I think we need to focus a little bit more on the question, what the question is asking us, so that we don't go off topic and write about something that's not really related. Anyway, let me continue. In other words, because people who do not understand clearly or misinterpret the words that have been said to them, ah, right, okay, this is a complex sense. Because people who do not understand clearly or misinterpret the words said to them. Right, we're having some grammatical issue here. And the reason being, we have because people. Right. Now, because people. So people here is the subject. And this is the subject of the main sentence. Right? So we have a subject here. Who do not understand clearly or misinterpret the words that have been said to them. This is what we call a dependence clause. Okay, so this is defining the subject people. But for the subject people, we need a verb. There's no verb here. So, who do not understand clearly or misinterpret the words that have been said to them, this is defining the people. But we need a verb for the for people. Now, if we use this subordinating conjunction, it means other than the verb, we need another clause to complete it. Because people. This means that this is also a dependence clause. Because when we use because subordinating conjunctions, we need another clause to follow it. So if we said, because people may fail to build strong relationships with the local people, it means that we still need another clause for this independence clause. Because people. So we have a problem here. But I think if we delete the subordinating conjunction, I don't know what I've done there, but let's just delete the subordinating conjunction because, right? So here we have people who do not understand clearly or misinterpret the words that have been said to them may fail to build strong relationships with the local people. Now here I have people. So instead of saying the local people and repeating people again, let's just delete it and put locals. Yeah? Because we're having a lot of people here, yeah? We have people, and we have people, and then we have people. Possibly we're going to have some more people somewhere. We might have more people. Do we have more people? Do we? I don't think we do. Well, I think we had enough peoples there. Anyway, let me continue. Jokes aside, hopefully you're getting to know my sense of humour by now. So we've got that sense. This sense looks good now. The feeling of frustration might occur when a student, for instance, makes embarrassing mistakes or receives negative criticism. Criticism is uncountable, gets negative criticism from a teacher or classmates. As a result, they might struggle to socialize or may isolate themselves from our society in general. Why don't we say from society? And feel the pain of loneliness. Right, I'm not sure about this phrase. Why it came here and add fuel to fire. I'm not sure about this, why it was there. Anyway, in regards to professional life, language barriers could hinder employees' career progression. Right, I'm having some issues here. Here we're talking about practical. The question's saying practical problems. All right. And here we have, in regards to professional life, language barriers could hinder employees. Possibly, you know, employees is plural, so we're going to put like, you know, the apostrophe after the S. Um, hmm. Now, this is very specific. Here we're talking about practical problems in general. So we could talk about how language barriers could cause a problem when people are going around their everyday life. And we could have used an employee's progression or career or whatever as an example for this to explain the point, but not as the main idea, because I don't think this is too specific to be, you know, talking about general practical problems, you know. So it's a bit too specific to be a main idea. This means that workers who are not fluent in a foreign language in the workplace may have troubles responding to requests from colleagues or clients, even though overseas employees have high qualifications. They cannot work effectively due to lack of command of the language. For example, individuals who work in a travel agency, which involves customer contact, Ah. Da-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. So see what we have here. Individuals who work in a travel agency. Yeah? Defining. Yeah? And then we have another defining relative clause. So what do we have here? We have this is the subject of the main clause. Individuals. These are dependent clauses, which are defining the individuals. Well, one is defining the individual, and the second one is defining the travel agency. So we do not have a verb for this subject. So instead of giving us a verb, you add another subject. So, but remember, if we got rid of this, the sentence should make sense. So individuals may have difficulty. Whenever you're not sure, imagine that you are deleting the defining or non-defining relative clauses, and you should be able to complete the sentence. Okay, so individuals may have difficulty understanding customers' inquiries and provide incorrect information, or may take more time to interpret instructions. Therefore, these problems lead to confusion and delay. Now, even though I'm not happy with this topic sentence, I think you might get away with it. You know, if you have a tired examiner and, you know, they're not that focused, they might not be able to pick up on that. So you possibly might get away with something like that. But with me, absolutely no way. It's not happening. Right? Even though the topic sentences are a bit weak and a bit too specific, or, you know, off, or, I think you're doing quite kind of a good job developing. We're having some grammatical issues with, like, you know, subjects and, you know, and dependent and independent clauses. But overall, you are developing your ideas well, and we do have some kind of logical progression. In conclusion, I believe that language barriers, okay, language barriers, so it's going to be barriers cause, yeah? Language barriers cause, why we said social problems, yeah? Such as isolation and practical problems like a reduction in the performance of work. And in order to work and live smoothly in a new environment, who should? Or is the subject for should? Is that immigrants? Should communicate successfully through proper use. Sorry about that. Through proper use of language skills. So we definitely have subject missing there. I don't think really we should be giving advice. The question is really not asking us for advice. It's just asking us really whether we believe that living in a country where we have to speak a foreign language can cause social problems or not. I don't think it's really our place to be giving advice. Overall, good job. But to be honest, this essay is more in the 6 range than the 6.5. I'm happy that we didn't have that much strange vocabulary, and then to me, I see this as a Band 7 LR, lexical resource, because you've stopped trying to force synonyms that aren't suitable. As for GRA, I think there were definitely too many mistakes. TA might be affected because the ideas are a bit off, too specific, a bit off. Also, CC could be affected by the faulty topic sentences. So I'm going to go for a Band 6 overall. I'm sure you can work on your mistakes and make improvements. You still have a little bit of time to do so before your exam. That's all for now. If you enjoy watching this feedback, make sure you support the channel by hitting like and share. Thanks for watching.